Hello and welcome. We are live. This is round 5, Tier 1, Season 3 in ERO's GT7 League, where we are currently riding on board with Mr. Paul Hutchinson, the business duck, who's had an impressive start to the season so far. Doing some damage up the front, trying to end that Yeast dominance with a great win last week in Sardinia. How do you pronounce it? We're just after finishing Tier 2, and I'm tired. As the first lap times are beginning to come in now, with Kieran Purnell currently being the fastest man on track, followed by Remco Sweets, who was having an impressive race last week until chaos struck midway through the race. Then James Wiggins, who's also been very impressive in the first half of the season, followed by Jason Booner, then Kalle Pukkanen sticking his car in P6. All having a bad start here. As Yeast currently P10, but that will change here in the process so far with a 126.482. Very quick. As Aaron Hyland sets his 127.861. Just a bit of a wobble there out of one of the most important corners on this track. These two turns coming up, the previous one and this one here, most important two on the circuit. So if you get a good exit here, you will be flying, as Macaulay does set the purple second too. It's beautiful Mazda as he heads around the hairpin now. Tricky corner here. You can lose the car if you're not careful. Just be mindful of that. Anyway. And then the uphill here can also cause you to lose a bit of speed if you're in a low gear. And that's a 126.533, and that's put Macaulay P2 at the moment. Kieran in the hits. Rob, in the meantime, has gone P3. Just over a 10.5 away from Macaulay. Mr. Nice sets a nice little time. Kalle improving as well, up to P4 at the moment. No improving from Rob, he's probably going to start another lap. Matty Ashfield was P5 originally, as Paul's just parked. Can't park there, mate. And Highland in his Aston Martin, which doesn't do him a lot of favours this season. Suchal, everybody's favourite Polishman and lobby host. Suchal and Camille and Daniel. All good lads. That's what's that. Jason yet to set a time as well. That's going to be anyway decent. As I don't know what Keane's livery is. Keane has the horniest livery I've ever seen in this game. Just want some clear little screenshot of this. For the masses, you can see what is going on here as Philip Rainford goes even quicker. Yeast in the pits. Jason about to cross the line now, and he's going to be the 126s by the looks of it. Yeah. Improves by 3/10, but stays P7. So the only driver in the top 3 at the moment is Kieran. Yeast is after coming out too. Robbie Galley had their blows earlier on Spa this season, but we hope to none of that today. As Kieran's now set a purple sector 1, Jason needs to get out of the way here. He's blocking Kieran here. That doesn't really matter. Kieran's got a time penalty, but he's not going to be too happy about that. Looks like Kieran's after losing the car there. Maybe there's a bit of lag. As Cian Hodgson goes faster now with a 127.3, I think it was. About to start another flying lap here as we're getting close to the end of quali. Just over 2 minutes to go. Running out of time. As you see, he's going through Sector 1, and he has found a purple Sector 1 so far. We're 10th up at this time. Motoring along nicely now. This tricky up and then downhill off camber Sector 2. And he's still up in his time. Hasn't improved all that much in Sector 2. Just a hairpin now. What would he do? What line would he pick? It's the apex quite nicely there. New update in GT7. A lot of mixed feelings about it. I think the game handles a lot worse now. This is going to be a 126.289, but James Wiggins will go into P1 now with just 35 seconds remaining. And Remco sweeps out of nowhere. Business Duck also improving, was not going to be good enough. Now he's going to have to go on another push lap here. Rob also improving, gets up to P4. He's just 2/10 up on his time currently. And that would be good enough for P1. Has P1 and P2 set the exact same time? No way, it looks like they have. Oh well, same delta should we say. As Rob's got a penalty, that's his qualifying over. Where is Calais Pukin in all of this? Calais just about go over the line in time, starting his final lap. What is Paul going to do now? Paul's with 7/10 to catch up here. Good job is mowing the grass. Remco's done. That's the end of his qualifying session. Now James is going to get a bit of a nice little tow here as they're racing towards the line. Is he going to go pole? He is going to go pole by over 2/10. Great stuff from James Wiggins. BMW, impressive stuff there. But however, Yeats is after going even faster to just about pip these guys to the line. Will Remco even go even faster? Will not improve. And that's going to be all she wrote, I think, unless Calais can do something here. Calais qualifying too. So he does improve, he goes P6, nice enough for him. That's everyone now at this point. Got tight qualifying at the end there. Just over half a second separating the top 5. But good stuff from everybody. So just around the qualifying. Yeast on pole. Then James Wiggins in second, Kieran third, Remco fourth, Rob fifth, Calais sixth, Jason seventh, Matty eighth, Keane in ninth, Philip in 10th, Paul in 11th. That's disappointing qualifying for them. Mr. Nice in P12, Aaron Hyland in P13, Sucho 14, and then Racer Oyster in P15. As you're about to get on the way. And we're about to get started now. And I should be able to spectate. We're going to disconnect it. Anyway. And there is a false start as well in place here, so. One, two, three, 4, 5 red lights, and we're about to get underway in racing in Tier 1 in Deep Forest in Canada. As it looks like as someone got a very good start there in a black car on the right hand side. I think that's Calais. Everyone coming down to turn 1 now. Is there going to be any position changes? Rob already up to P2. He's going to be battling with James. James on the inside, Rob on the outside. Looks to be quite clean. No tears just yet there. Kieran 4th. Remco 5th. Calais 6th. Top 6 don't change positions. Further down the field, Paul already making up 2 positions in the opening corners in his Volkswagen Beetle. Great stuff from him. Sucho dropping down. Black Jeebus dropping down. Philip down to P15. Racer up to P14. Everybody else seems to have held position for now. James Wiggin has been overtaken though by Kieran Purnell. Kieran up to P3. James down to P4 as we enter into the heavy braking zone. That is the first 2 heavy braking zones in this track. Well, first and second of 3. Back at the long tunnel straight here, swooping along. It's already 7/10 clear not getting everything his own way as Rob is getting a great slipstream here and is giving him a run for his money into that Mercedes. Is Mercedes v Mazda, Kieran waiting in the wings to pick up any pieces. It seems a bit of a Porsche domination in F2 or Tier 2. And here comes Rob on the inside. He's going to have the inside line here. Who's going to get the better corner exit speed? He has to go a bit wide. Tooting keeping it very, very clean here. So far, so good. Rob yields the position, elects not to do anything crazy. Aziz is a bit of a wobble there going on the grass. Keeps the position for now. Early skirmishes here as we enter lap 2 of 20. Kieran and business. Who's that? Remco waiting right behind James Wiggins, you can see just further up from the rest of this pack. Kieran will be a bit of a wobble there in the off-camera turn. Now, heavy braking zone here. Everyone has to be careful not to go to the back of anybody else. Rob very close to the back of East here, and he looks to have gotten a great exit there. Is he going to be able to get a better speed? Here he comes. East has to be careful not to squeeze him here. And the two of these are going to go side by side into the hairpin. Remco and Kieran also gaining from the slipstream. Here we go here. You can see further down there, Jason Booner also waiting in the wings. Aziz is going to have to give the position up to Rob. Remco going a bit wide there to stave off Kieran. Keeping the position as well. Calais a bit off the pace at the moment, 2 seconds away from Jason, but he's got Matty Affield right behind him, keeping him in contention and company. Paul Hutchinson also arriving on the scene momentarily. Kieran Hodgson off making more funny comments about Woj. So Rob 8/10s clear now, nearly a second clear as Remco is now also overtaking these two. It just seems to be he's not going to have it all his own way today. Just check the tyres. Everyone on the mediums, it looks like to start off with, apart from Aaron, Racer, as Rob has got a 1 second penalty for track limits already. That's a disaster. That is not good. So Remco will take the lead of the race after the penalty has been applied, even though there's a second gap already. Very, very close here to the back of Remco, and so is James very close to the back of him. Kieran as well, and Jason. This is great stuff from the top 6 so far. Will Calais get involved? It looks like he is. He's gaining ever so slightly. Will Remco get the lead now once Rob has this penalty? We're going to have a little look. And he does indeed. How many positions will Rob drop though? He's dropped 1. Will he drop 2? It doesn't look like he's going to drop a second. He might have the better corner exit speed though here, because of the wider line. Doesn't look like he does actually. Oh, he's slightly gaining. The thing is, if you get a good exit in that turn, that hairpin, it's a long, long way to turn 1. Rob might end up losing both positions as a result of this. He is getting a bit of a slipstream. He's just going to go for the move down on the inside into turn 1, just where Rob doing exactly what Rob did to him. However, Rob not giving this up on the outside. He's staying with him. He's going to get the position, I think, and it's going to stick East up to P2, Rob down to P3. Kieran and James fighting further down the field. Kieran having a bit of a wobble there, and he's gone over the sausage curves as well. Is he going to get a penalty for that? Yes, he is. 1 second penalty. It's going to derail his chances to move further up the field in the immediate future. Remco now over 1 second ahead. Great stuff from them. Great stuff. And I thought Rob had another penalty there. Was Kieran. Bit of a wobble on the exit there. Into the tunnel, straight they go. Kieran's going to be slowing down, and he's going to lose the position of James, probably, and Jason as a result of this. Calais is going to be waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces too. Calais taking a couple of seconds too. 2/10 on his personal best. Kieran now and Jason fighting for P5. There's going to be a lot of slipstream action here. It doesn't look like Kieran's actually getting all that much of a slipstream, because we're right on board with him. Doesn't seem to be gaining at all, because Jason's also getting his own slipstreams. Kieran's going to go for it here though. I don't think he had much of a choice because of the driver in front of him not seeing the braking point. He's going to get the move. Been Paul's day so far. He's up to P8, he's up 3 positions. Has a bit of catching up to do here. But Further up the field, the delta is still over a second between first and second. Rob just under a second away from East, 2 seconds off the lead. James the same. Kieran sticking with James though at the moment. Question is, who's managing their tyres better? Very much the same. East has used a bit more of his. Rob used a bit more, the most out of anybody in the top 5 it looks at the moment. Tyre wear very minimal. Further down the field we see Phil and Aaron fighting, the 2 Tier 2 drivers. Now he's starting to close in on Remco. We're starting to use a bit more of his front right tyre as well. The gap has gone from 1.1 seconds just under 7 tenths now. And around the 7-10 mark. He's going to drop Rob a bit. He's just picked up the pace at this point. Interesting question is now, which driver comes in early to pit for fuel? Or not fuel, for change their tyres? Is the undercut going to make a difference here? These are all questions that require answers. We'll get them over the next 15 laps or so. Wherever you're living in the world at the moment, the UK is very, very warm. It is toxically warm, with this humidity just killing us. And stuff, July weather. Anyway, Rob now 2 seconds away from Yeast. Kieran though staying with Rob, only half a second away. Not half a second away, 2 tenths, less than 2 tenths away. James is half a second away from him. Jason's been dropped off the pace ever so slightly. Rob's got another penalty, but it looks like it's just going from bad to worse for him with penalties. If he didn't have these 2 penalties, he would have been leading this race, I think. Or at least pushing contention forward. As Kieran right on the back run through this tricky S section here in Sector 2. And he's going to lose position here. Kieran, James and Jason by the looks of it. We'll see in a second. It doesn't look like we lose it to Jason. Further up the field, Delta still the same between the top 2. Easton has just dropped Kieran down. Over 3 seconds is the gap. Remco was showing great pace last week until he had a moment, I think it was in turn 1 or turn 2, we just lost control of the car. But he's banging in the times here at the moment. Last lap marginally quicker than East. 300ths of a second. Staying the same here. He's in his best sector one time, but it was still a very, very quick time. Kieran not really making a dent into this delta that's made by East now. Calais still in P6, Jason in P7. Paul not really making much of an impact today. He's caught up with this pack, but he needs to get past Jason. He needs to dispatch him quickly if he wants to make any headway here. As he's got Matty right behind him. I think Matty's giving him a little bonk there. Gaining on the straights. And he is up to P1. There must have been a time penalty for Remco there because over a second is the difference now. Kieran is right on the back of him. So from over 3 seconds being the difference from P2 to P3, now it's less than a second. Any driver could still win this race. Definitely not over yet. Now the interesting thing here is if you're the chasing drivers on those mediums and you know the tyre deck isn't really heavy here, do you pit a lap earlier than everybody else? Because you're expected to go in around lap 12 on the mediums. Do you pit a lap earlier, gamble on the soft speed faster at the start, and not really worry about track position towards, well, not track position, but not worry about having the slower offset tyre towards the end? That is the question here. Kieran rapidly closing in on Remco now. Remco's really compromised himself. Whatever's happened there, I think the tag is starting to get to him maybe a bit. Still Paul getting stuck behind. Chasing him back, he's still chasing him down. Oh, excuse me. Calais not really making any more dent into the leader. Remco's starting to make some headway. That slipstream coming into effect a small amount. But here's the turn. Like this is probably the most important turn on the track because the run down here is just massive. And with the slipstream, it makes it very, very powerful, especially when you're going downhill there as well. You're gaining more speed and everything else. Look at this. He's going to gain over a 10th here. As we enter half race distance, Kieran currently having the fastest lap of the race at 1:26.490. And just looking at the lap times, it does look like Remco had one bad lap, just got that time penalty. But he's not giving this up. He's in the bad sector 1 there. Remco's really closed in. Now, just over half a second is the difference now. Kieran's staying with him as well. Just inch by inch, closing in, little by little. It's about 3/10 is eaten into his time in the last lap. Look at this. Gaining even more now. There's a bit of wobbling under the final turn. That's Remco now still closing in. He's lost a bit of time on the exit at the last corner there. He was over it. He was nearly a 10th quicker that last lap. Really starting to eat into this time here. Seems to be much quicker in sector 1 than sector 2. But they're giving it all back on that straight. Saying that, this is a better sector 1 than Remco sector 2. Kieran waiting in the wings to capitalise on any mistakes. Rob, a bit off the pace at the moment. James close enough to the back of Rob, less than half a second separates them. Calais just over a second, same with Jason. Then Paul still stuck behind Jason here, and he's got half a second penalty. Matty also as well, so he won't lose any positions. He must be having a very frustrating day at the office today. Nothing seeming to go right for him. Middle of the field. Yeah, he's had a good lap here. He's pulled away a tiny bit. Kieran right on the back of Remco here now. Now it's really starting to heat up here. as we're expecting most drivers to come into the pits around this lap. Kieran's got a 1 second time penalty. It's a disaster for them. So it's going to just be a straight shootout between P1 and P2 by the looks of it. 8 laps to go. As we're about to enter lap 13 and 20. Does anybody pit? It looks like we got one. Yeast elects to pit. Remco does not. He elects to go long. A few drivers now. Rob, James, and Jason as well, all electing to pit. Jason with a half-second penalty. Gap nearly 2 seconds though between Kieran and Remco. Just that 1 second penalty really killed Kieran now. Can Remco really push now? Speaking of, he's got a half a second penalty. It's going to derail him here. As it seems to be all the Porsche drivers have stayed out. Kala as well. So it's advantageous for the drivers who've been stuck in a bit of traffic to just go an extra lap. Gives them a bit of breathing room, a chance just to push. However, saying that, it's not going to be getting half-second penalties, which everybody seems to be doing. He's an absolute clean air as well here, which is really going to sit as being the music to his ears. Kieran into the pits. And Paul as well. Remco's elected to start for another lap. So they want to go very long. Interestingly enough here. Though I don't think that's going to work because East was 2/10 quicker than him last lap. So Paul's going to put the softs on naturally enough, and he's going to come out in P8. So Kieran is going to be 6 seconds behind Yeast now. After the pitting is done. Remco and Calais still to pit. I think the undercut was the more prudent move here, to be honest. I think going long wasn't a good idea. Overcut hasn't seemed to have worked. No, it doesn't ever really work in racing games all that often, to be honest. Remco into pits at last, and Calais will be joining him momentarily. Just 7 laps to go. Now we enter into lap 15 and 20. What will be the difference? He's only changing the tyres now, so it's going to be a big, big delta. I think Remco's thrown away here. P2 maybe. Yeah. Well, he's kept P2, but it looks like for now. But Kieran's going to be in an absolute charge, and his tyres are going to be nice and warm. 5 seconds is the gap. moment. Now the question is, can Kieran catch Remco for P2? If any driver gets a penalty at this point, how disastrous will that be? Laps obviously mean to stay the same between these two. Well, not really actually. This is in the 126s now. Is anybody else? Kieran in the 126s. James also in the 126s. Rob as well. Jason and Paul. Everybody. That clean air is king. Remco with a purple sector 1. Is there any further action happening down the field? It doesn't really look like there is, to be honest. It looks to be quite quiet at the moment. There's just a handful of laps to come. She's gone even faster now. Hold on though, Remco's gone even faster as well. He's taking the fastest lap of the race, and James Wiggin has immediately superseded him. We're into the 125s now. Is it too little, too late for the drivers behind? It looks like this is the final finish order, barring any catastrophes, will stay the same here. James Wiggins and Kieran Pennell look to be the two who are going to have a battle towards the end of the race. But that's going to be all she wrote, folks, by the looks of it. James ever so slightly edging along here as you see Calais and Rob fighting further down the field. These two going at it again. You see Rob there. Calais' wing mirror. Is he getting a bit of a slipstream? Very slightly. comes. Round the outside. Not exactly sure what happened there. Well, I braked himself, we don't really know, but Calais kept the position for now. It's just a few laps to go now. And Business Stuff has finally gone to P7. And Kieran getting overtaken by James and making a bit of contact with the hairpin. Remco's eating into the gap, but it's too little too late, I think. James is absolutely rocking the lodge there. But Kieran's not going to give this up just yet. Into turn 1, he's going to have the inside line on the final lap. Going to make the move to him way before the braking zone, but James Wiggins comes back out of nowhere here to get the move, and not a whole lot of space given, but looks to be just on the borderline of hard racing between these two. Oh god, oh, there's going to be tears after this race. Well, Stewart, whoever you are, maybe a bit busy. However, these two have had a decent battle all very slow. Calais booking it in his return to GT7 will earn a nice little P5. Paul Hutchinson, after starting P11, will finish P6. Rob, P7, I'm not sure what happened there. Matty in P8. But it will be Ollie Beard, Remco Smith, it must be said, gained in rapidly towards the last few laps. Really closed that gap in by over half the amount it was. Will be a Macaulay Beard win in Deep Forest. Put himself right back in contention in this title fight. Remco Smith will pass the line on P2. Kieran Purnell will finish P3 for now, and James Wiggins in P4. We'll see what happens in the stewards room after that. Calais P5, Great Race from you. Business Duck P6, Rob P7, Matty P8. Jason is going to finish in P9. Paul is going to finish in P10. Keane Hodgson P11. Philip Brainford in P12. Zuchal in P13. Then we got Racer. Last but not least, Mr. Aaron Hyland. Thank you all for watching this evening. Hope you enjoyed the race. It's definitely an interesting one. Tune in next week and we'll be back in action. Good night.